Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Let's go build something cool. All right, we're back on the 200. Ricky's getting our laser line set up so we can chop for the sliders. Alrighty, so we got the rear bumper off. We are getting prepped to install this. Up to this point in the program, you basically just follow the instructions from the Victory 4x4 video on their website. Anyway, so Ricky's got his cut lines laid out on the sliders because we do have sliders going on this thing. They're in that box. There's their brackets right there. Yeehaw. Also, we're working on this, so check for this video if you're watching the Land Cruiser video, or the LX video. Okie dokie, welcome back. It's a little chilly this morning. It was like 38 this morning when we woke up. 38. Yeah, it was like 38. It's supposed to be like 70 today, so that'll be great. Alrighty, we got our sliders on. Yeah. We got lights. That's cool. Speaking of lights, got our switch panel system here. And we need to mount this. Gone back and forth with the customer over a couple of things, couple options. So what I think I'm gonna do, here's the bracket that comes with it. We were thinking we were gonna leave it right here, either angled so that it still cleared the ashtray, or flat. It actually fits really good right here flat, but he actually would rather have it a little further out of the way. So what I'm gonna do is up in here. So we're gonna drop this overhead console. There we go, yeah. So we're gonna drop this overhead console and I'm gonna pull this door off and then we're gonna mount it to the up inside here. It'll sit kind of at an angle so it shines down, which is good because it's not in your face. That thing may be a little bright at times. So we gotta pull this apart. You can get behind the headliner and pull it down a little bit to tuck the wire up in there, but we gotta chase it down the A-pillar and then through the port up underneath the dash. That's the plan there. I gotta pop this overhead console out. It appears, if I recall from my years as a Lexus technician. Oh, sorry for the zebra effect there. There we go. That's better. Those two little panels pop off right there. There's a couple of screws, and we'll be in good shape. I'm going to disassemble the door and remove it. Maybe not the super duper crazy slickest thing that I could do, but I don't own a 3D printer. I should buy one of these days. SDHQ. Super Duty headquarters. We sell and service their parts. They make one for a GX460 that actually flush mounts a Switch Pro up here. But here's the deal: Switch Pro is like $600 or $700, and even though we're spending a ton of money on this thing, there's a few places where we're saving a few bucks, just per the client's request. So that's where we're at. Ricky's working on the rear bumper. We're gonna get this chopped up pretty soon. I'm probably gonna have Noah help me pull this wire through here. Oh yeah, we got suspension. Let's walk over here. We got 3 giant boxes of Dobinsons yesterday. This is half of the parts that I have on order. There's still a full pallet coming, but due to time constraints, I had them go ahead and ship me these. These are the kits for this 200 and another 200. So I gotta look at the part numbers and remember which ones are which. I'm pretty sure we get 559 rears and 544 fronts due to the extra weight on this rig. Okay, so Noah's gonna give me a hand. I'm just gonna explain to you guys while I'm explaining it to him. If you'll look right down in here, there's a boot. That's what it's all about. That boot right there, see that round nipple on the right side? That guy right there? That you can actually kind of chop the tip off of it and you can feed your wires through. So what we've got is our switch panel and the wire right here. So we got to pull this through. So we're going to pull this apart. We're going to cut that little nippular portion off and we're going to pull that. It's not super easy to reach from the inside, but that's the first thing we're going to do. We'll feed a wire out and then tape to it, and then pull back from the firewall, from the engine side to under the hood. Best camera angle ever. Just laying in the seat. Don't be scared. All right, we gotta pull some plugs off of her.
When you smile, it looks like you're saying the word her, but with a dozen R's at the end, like her.
One on that side, one on that side. All right, so we got our console. Obviously, make sure your hands are clean because, you know, parchment colored interior is a thing, whatnot. All right, we got a couple little screws here. So we're gonna pull this gear off of here. All right, and then on this side, we just got a little spring, and that comes off thusly, and then the door comes right out. So, preferably, we'll be able to get to the mounting hardware the way I do this. So, let's lay some things out here. Okay, so looking at this roof structure, there's like a piece right here where these bolts go into, and if you come up about an inch towards the windshield, so this is the windshield side, this is the passenger compartment side. If you come up towards the windshield about an inch, you will find that there's a void that runs right in here that this will jive really well with. Conveniently enough, there are two little casting marks right about there. So what we're going to do in order to get this wire with this locky nut deal, I'm going to drill right here. I'm going to drill just forward of these two casting indentions, so right there-ish. So that's my game plan. Let's grab a drill and make that happen. Right about there. And we grab a unibit. Unibit, U&I bit. The idea with being a cheap part, yes, this is not the cheapest part, but it's cheaper than buying a whole headliner. And if you've got the sunglass thingy, if you go back to using the sunglass holder, which we Ziploc bagged up and put in the customer's car for him so he can keep his parts, if you ever decide you want to go back to stock for that, you have that ability. All right, looking at the layout on this side of the program, here's our bracket. This actually fits really well, just like that. See where the brake is right here? It actually fits right above those strappy doos. Pretty stinking well. It doesn't leave me a lot of room for my wire. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a die grinder and I'm going to make a notch right here. And then I'm also going to run this on the sander and I'm going to knock down these edges just a little bit. Because as a dealership technician in my previous life, if somebody would have had this crap blocking these holes and just ran some screws through it or something, I would have been pissed. So that's how I'm gonna do it. So we're gonna do this, and yep. So like I say, I'm just gonna make a little indentation right here so the wire can go through easily, and then knock these down. Okay, those are knocked down on the grinder or the belt sander, so they fit really nicely. Just like that, so those little panels will pop out of the way and it sits nice and flat. Now we're going to drill this and hit it with the die grinder, just to make it nice and pretty, and then we'll hit this with a little black spray paint. Okie dokie, this part's all cleaned up a little bit. I'll sand on it a little bit more, but we need to lay out our holes. Our mounting has standoffs, so here's a little trick that I like to do. For these little brackets, because they're pretty easy to deal with, and you don't have to do a lot of hole layout. So what I'll do is I'll put this right where we want it, and I'm going to scribe like that. Alright, so now we got some scribing marks. Okay, so you might not expect this, but here's my solution for this. Rivets. Dirt track rivets. These are what the dirt track boys use to put their body panels on with. They got nice, large aluminum heads or aluminum rivets. Are easy to drill out if you ever need to. And then we'll just leave these couple little holes. Okay, so now our bracket will sit right here. And then all you'll have visible is that head. And these blow out pretty good. And we're real tight to the body, but we have that inch of offset that we talked about. And then also you see the height here. So these rivets will stay low profile on that. So I need to slap a little paint on this guy, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all together. All right, I had to do a consultation with a potential client for a minute there. Shout out to Rex, TX Rider. He does a lot of charity stuff. So met him at Overland Expo a couple weeks back. All right, guys, our bracket got a little VHT roll bar black on it, and we get our rivets. Alrighty, so exploding rivets, easy peasy. So that'll be nice and hidden up in there, and no rattles. Boom. All right, that portion of the program is set. We got our secondary bracket bolted on. Make sure all our words are pointed the same direction as the rest of the words. Okie dokie. These work pretty well. Like I say, they're not race quality. You wouldn't want to run a race car off of these, but they'll work for what we're doing. All right, so we're going to tape up this hard part here just so it doesn't rattle, because Lord knows, be my luck, it would. Just something so it doesn't go tick, tick, tick. And we're going to make it real easy for the next guy. We're going to take the tail and just fold it over. So that way if somebody's got to take this thing apart, they don't have to fight it. Because I wouldn't want to if it was me. So the wire is just going to get tucked up in here above this other module. Plug it in, plug it in. Little clippy clip. Okay, and those little clippies, and then this goes like that. We just need a little, it blocks a little bit of the rear view, but not much. So, let me grab an Allen, and we will lock those down. So that way it's up there, and I think it looks pretty nice. Looks pretty nice. From the driver's seat, you can see it, but it's not shining right in your face. So that's cool. Alrighty, progressing. Look at those big, beautiful boys right there. That is THICC thick. That is way bigger than the ones that go on a 4Runner and a GX. And also, that is a tall, tall coil. We got all the travels. All the travels. Alright, so over here, because we are deleting the AHC, we do have a little bit of a mess, as you can tell. Hoses right here. Probably a little right there. We'll get all that hose down before we get done. I am probably going to leave those for now, just in the interest of time, and then we'll come back and take them all out later. We're doing an LRA tank on this thing when it comes in a couple months, so we'll have it back for shakedown and retorque and all that stuff when the LRA tank comes in. So I opened the bleeder screws up under here, and we got 2 drain pans, and then made sure we watch out for high pressure, because you don't want it squirting you in the face. And normal coilover disassembly, normal coilover assembly. Excuse the mess, sorry, we're busy. They're big. All right, we gotta get a ratchet and get that thing snugged up. Shout out to Turbo 8 on the Hate Mud forum for figuring out how to do all this stuff. Boy, this thing makes a mess when you pull these hydraulic lines off. We had the bleeders open when we took the fronts, and they puked on the floor, and then when we popped the rears off, they just, huge mess. We'll show you here in just a second. That's why I set up the camera on this one. And then the guys on the forums were talking about special tools and cutting the fender liner and all this sort of, like, building tools. But I'm gonna show you this wrench that we've got that is pretty freaking awesome. All right, that's out of the way. This side is gonna be interesting to try to get my fancy wrench up in there, but I'm gonna see if I can do it. So this is a flex head offset ratcheting hilly golly. Comes in a set. There's a 21-22 and 24-27 pair. A bunch of dudes on the forums had to like make offset box wrenches or whatever, but this is why you buy the spendy stuff off the truck, I suppose, guys. It's all about having that $200 wrench. But I'll tell you, I use this thing on every Toyota and Chevy and most of the Fords that come through here. So it's 21-22, so that doubles as a 7/8 and a 13/16 if you need it to. So it's this thing gets pulled out of the box usually once or twice a day at least. So worth the investment. And then the ratcheting 27 is good for some of the other bigger stuff on the car. I'm not telling you got to go buy one. I'm just saying I use the crap out of it. That's all. These are off Cornwell truck. I got them on a special because that's how I buy most of my stuff from our buddy Mike. You're going to want to support the rear end with a jack when you do this. We already have that set up, but just if you're at home trying to do this stuff. So Cornwell 21-22. It is a CRW 2122 Mike Lima Foxtrot Bravo. So reversible ratcheting. It's not flats. It's the like side grippy thing. So you can put it on SAE stuff if you need to. But these are money makers. The 24-27 comes in handy too when you're doing front ends on these things. Now to offset that high dollar Cornwell, here's a high dollar Icon. So I'm not completely bougie. But anyway, so if you have all your arms loose, because you're going to need to get these coils, the new ones in more specifically, as you compress the shock, because the shock is basically just a hydraulic cylinder, and pukey goodness. Let's talk about these. So box end ratchety, like I said, these are Icon, Harbor Freezy. These have held up really well. And this is from Vim Tools. I'm sure we can put a link in the description or something. And this is a wrench doubler. So it goes like that. But you don't want to do it on the ratcheting end. So you want it this way. On the box end. So, and it gives you all the leverage. Noah's trying to get this one loose. He's struggling. He's got a 3/4 inch breaker bar over there. Yeah. So if you're trying to do this on jack stands, get wrecked. All right, compressor's running in the background. Let's talk about what Ricky's doing. What you got here, Ricardo? Making a bracket for the brake line. Very nice, very nice. All right, the reason we're making that bracket is to substitute for this one because we're doing a Tundra brake upgrade. So the Land Cruiser brake line is flex all the way out. Same with the LX 570, obviously. Whereas on the Tundra, you're running a flex line to the chassis, and then a hard line from the knuckle to the caliper. And the caliper doesn't have a banjo fitting, otherwise we would just reuse the stock one. The calipers, and we didn't get anything special, these are 2015 Tundra calipers, but they're not banjo, they're inverted flare. We could have adapted some fittings and whatnot. We also got new OEM Tundra backing plates. The Tundra's got more airflow and they're bigger. The rotors for a Tundra in the front are about a 1/2 inch larger, which is not a ton, but the pistons are different and the pads are different. And they went to the Tundra setup in 2016 on the GX. So that's what we're doing. I'm just gonna say all the forum dudes say it's worth it. And we were looking for some kind of brake upgrade without spending $1 bazillion, because there are $1 bazillion kits available. I've had good luck with the Power Stop Z36 toes. They kind of are one-click solution for us. The next step up would be DBA, Disc Brakes Australia, DBA rotors, and you know, either DBA pads or whatever. But there's a pretty good price difference between the Power Stop kit and the DBA kit, and we just kind of wanted the slightly more simple solution, so that's what we did. And this thing needed a brake flush real bad. The pedal is really spongy. So in the rear, the Tundra is the exact same, so no difference. We just ordered a Land Cruiser Flexline kit for here and over there, and we should be in good shape. All right, so we have right side and left side, and these are weak because the shock does a lot of the supporting of the weight of the car. But when we add this much mass of the bumper and the spare tire carrier and the LRA tank and all the fun stuff, that ain't enough, and it makes the shocks like freak out because the pressures are too high. So we're not doing that. We're gonna put these in. So right side goes on right, left side goes on left. Doesn't matter if it's US or Australian spec. You go left and right, not driver and passenger. That's why they mark them that way. Okie doke. So on the upper side, I called Dobinsons. I checked the instructions. They come with 3 different washers depending upon the size of the hole in the frame. We need the biggest one, which is that guy. And I called Andreas and talked to him, and he said you can stack them, which is not the worst idea, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mock it up first with just the one. And the reason I'm going to do that is because it's got a deeper recess right here, and it actually grabs the bushing really well. And the guys at Dobinsons said that's fine, but we do have to have something. The factory one, where did I set it? Oh, I took it over the calipers, that's why. Anyway, so the factory one is big, and oh, right here. Here we go. There's the factory one, and it's the same OD as the bigger of the 3, but it doesn't grab the bushing as well. So I'm gonna try it like this. If I feel like I got a lot of excess stud, I may pull it back out and go ahead and stack it up, which will hold it fine because this will all just wedge. But these two fit together pretty good, but like these just don't kind of register very well with the big one and the middle one. So these two do okay, but still a little sloppy. So I think I'm just gonna run the big one. Since it registers on the outside of the bushing, we should be in good shape. So that's the word from Dobinsons. So that's the plan. So much like a GX, we want to start with the lower. Perfect. Okay, you want the washer on the back side to shim it out a little bit so it squishes the bushing just a little bit and doesn't ride against the weld right there. So we'll go ahead and screw this guy in. Okay, you would have room to put the stack of washers on there, but like I say, I like the way it registers on the outside of it better with just the one. It's Saturday morning, we're back. This thing's got to be done tonight. It's got to go out of town, so we're running down to the wire. We've got an appointment at 1 o'clock, and it's like 9. So we got an appointment at 1 o'clock for alignment. In the meantime, I had to get some brake hoses. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about there we go. Let's talk about ride heights. Okay, so here's where we were normal. 34, 34 and a half. Rear 35 and 3/4, 36. Here's our high measurement, and then where we're at now. So we actually wound up with about 3 inches of lift, even with the all the weight. 38 and a half, 38 and 7/8. This is too much rake for me. But the problem is we've got a maximum height, and we also don't have all the weight on the rear bumper. Real talk. Spare is going to hang on this side, and it's going to be levered out. Also, the range is at like 60 miles right now, so there's like no fuel in the thing. The right rear is sitting high, the higher, and the left front is low. And remember, when you're adjusting coilovers, it's an X, okay? So corner weighting. So you add preload to the left front, it's actually going to lower the right rear. Not a lot, but a little bit. So we're going to bring the left front up, and that'll help put some weight on the right rear. I also had Ricky stand right here and weight it, and this side dropped quite a bit. This side dropped 3/8 with just his 140. And then the other thing is we are going to wind up putting an LRA tank in here, so that's going to be a little extra. So some of the tail high that we're seeing right now is actually going to come down a fair bit. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So we got to get some things done. So our plan is we're going to pull the tires off right now. We're going to add about 3 turns to the left front. We're going to tidy up, like our height control bracket needs to be put back on and zip tied into position. Our fender liner needs to go back in right here. Our wiring needs to be wrapped up on our windshield. That needs to be dialed in. Our rear bumper lights need to be wired. We got a bunch of junk to deal with, but we're going to pull the wheels off, and we're going to take those to Discount and our local store and get them mounted up. I had to order these. These are tube front brake number 6, number 7, and these are what goes from the caliper out to the knuckle. Remember we made those little brackets? Well, these are the parts we need in order to run Tundra lines. These are 2015 Tundra is what I've been basing everything off of. And then we can put our Tundra brakes on and our backing plates. So that's the plan. We're gonna yank the wheels off. We're gonna throw them in the truck. I'm gonna go run them up to the tire shop to go get our tires mounted up. Ricky's gonna get started on the front brakes, and then I'll be right back. I'll help him wrap that up if he needs it. We'll get them flushed. We'll get them bled. We'll get, and then we got to replace our rear lower control arms and tidy up our rear bumper and our wiring while the tires are getting mounted up. And it's 9:15-ish, and we got to be at the alignment shop at the Toyota dealership 5 miles away at 1 o'clock. Alrighty, we got the hubs off. Ricky's drilling back here. Getting things rolling. Just want to talk about these brakes for a second now that I got all this off. Okay, so like I said, there's a little bit difference in the rotors, but the thing I'm looking at is look how much more cooling area there is, and then the shape of the vanes on the rotor, they're longer and there's more of them. The spacing between them is a little different. So the theory is that these rotors actually pull more air, so you need more cooling holes for the air to come out. My thought is that the Lexus customer, Land Cruiser customer, doesn't want their wheels as dirty. I don't know, whatever. But Tundras are designed to tow. I don't know if you remember them, but there used to be commercials of the Tundra pulling the space shuttle, towing and whatnot. So we're gonna get all this put on. Man, it gets dark so early around here. I can't get good pictures and stuff. I tell you what I'm going to do is he's headed to New Mexico, and I'm going to have him take me some cool pictures so we got a good thumbnail. I think that's the move. Rear tire carrier is on. Our new Falcon 275 7018s are on. I think it looks killer. We're going to get it out here in just a minute, but we're pretty much wrapped up. I just got to wire up these reverse lights. And then, like I said, it's coming back for an LRA tank, and we're going to mount the rear camera after his trip. When he gets back, we'll do a retorque and a shakedown on everything. So, interior's all put back together. As you can see, we are clear of a height control. There used to be a height thing right here, but it's gone. And we had codes earlier, but honestly, that was because we disconnected the wrong plug on the AHC module. It is actually supposed to be, it's going to be the second one. There's going to be a white grounded one on this car, and it's the second one, blue and white, blue and black, depending upon your year. So that's the hot ticket. I had the local Toyota dealership align it for us, and honestly, it was better before I dropped it off. So thanks, guys, as I picked up at 5 o'clock when everybody was closing. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I looked at the sheet. All they did was set the toe, and I'll insert a picture of what the steering wheel looked like. There you go. Steve put that picture in there for us. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's fantastic. Yeah. So we're going to head right over there to Mr. J's, who does most of our alignments, and we're going to fix it, and then our customer's going to be here. Alrighty, gang. It's late. We had to do some more wiring. Our customer's super awesome, nice guy. Look at those. Those are our Cali raised LED, 18 watt ditch lights, fog lights. 275 70 18, so 33 and a half. Cali raised 42-inch bar on the roof, 20-inch bar double on the bumper. Baja Design Squadrons. Washout all the white balance. Of course, we got our Dobinson suspension. You guys have seen all that. That's it for this one. We sure appreciate it. This is a fantastic build. It's a ton of work. We love it. If we can do anything like this for you, shoot me an email, Cody@CodyCrafted or sales@CodyCrafted.com. We sure appreciate it. Be sure to check out the merch below. Remember, kids, there is no such thing as a bolt-on. That's right. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.